Hey folks, I'm Matt. I'm the VP of Product and Engineering here at TopLeft, and I'm excited to show you a bit of the new stuff that we've been working on for a while. This is specifically going to be for administrators and managers in TopLeft who are already familiar with the ConnectWise and Autotask modes. So what I'm going to do here is try to help you learn how to use the new system if you're already familiar with the old system. Now, I do have another video. It'll be on the YouTube channel. I'll link to it in the description, and that it will be an overview of some of the new functionality. But this one is specifically for helping you learn about how to use the new UI if you are familiar with this UI. So I'll jump right in. In order to see some of the new stuff, you need to enable it in your own account here. So you click under the main menu here, click account, and you can turn on this option here, new UI. If you don't see this option there, the new UI thing, that means that we haven't yet turned it on for your application, like your environment. So just let us know and send an email to help@topleft.team and we'll be happy to do that. And then you'll see that option there. So turn it on, click save, and you'll immediately be taken to the new interface. You will still see a list of your existing old boards and whatnot in the left side menu here. You can click on those and you'll still see that old board back in the old UI. But in order to make essentially a new board, you come down here to this link here in the main menu and click Create View. We have changed a bit of the terminology. We're calling these views instead of boards because they're going to be more flexible about the sorts of visualizations that you can use. So the default one, of course, will be the Kanban boards. There's already Gantt charts, and in the future we hope to add other ones like calendars and even some other options as well. So we were trying to be a little bit more generic about the terms that we're using here. So you create a view. At the moment, I'll show you the ConnectWise one. For tickets, we will be expanding out to the Autotask very, very soon, maybe even tonight or tomorrow. And other project types in or other record types in ConnectWise, such as projects and activities and opportunities and so on. But at the moment, we support tickets, so just click tickets there. You want to create a ticket board, ticket view. And so here you will see the setup form for this new type of view. I won't build this from scratch. I'm actually going to go and try to edit one that I've already created because it has better demonstration data for you. So here's one that the form is already filled out. So eventually you'll get to this point, but this will help me to describe it in a little more detail. So you give it a name. You can also give it a summary. The default group that refers to essentially the swim lane option from the old UI. I can take you back here. So if you're on our editing form here that you're familiar with already, this would be the swim lane section. We're calling it the grouping now. And you can choose a default way to group your tickets on this board. It's more flexible though. This can be overridden. So previously, you would, if you wanted to be able to see the same tickets but grouped in different ways, then you would have to make basically like clone a board and then just change that swim lane field. And then if you ever needed to update them, then you'd have to update both versions. And it was a bunch of work. So we've made it a lot more flexible. As you see, this is just called the default group. Okay, so this is what it will show up when someone just clicks on it in the menu. But it's easy to override this choice once you're actually looking at the Kanban board. So you don't need to make all these duplicate boards anymore. The card fields section here, that is basically this section here. So you can click on here and see the various options that are available and just select them, and that will be what appears on the card. Automatic ordering, that is this section here, the ranking. So if you want to be ordering the cards by one of the fields on the card here, you can select that. Also a second option. If maybe you selected like due date here and a lot of your cards have the same due date, then you can give it a second ordering here. And then the interesting section here, this is really key for filters. That will duplicate all of what you see in here. Well, actually, we don't have all of these options available yet, but we will plan to, at least all the ones that are commonly used. Obviously, it's a completely different experience. So instead of finding the field that you want here and just selecting the other values that you want, it's very flexible. Okay, so it operates on boolean logic, so you can say you can group them with ands and ors, and you can negate things here, which like say not a certain value, which you could never do in the old version. So I think you'll really appreciate the flexibility that you can have here. I have duplicated this choice of the ConnectWise board here. So this would be if I had selected the ConnectWise board's help desk and professional services. So that's what I've done here. I've selected to filter by the ConnectWise board is in these choices, help desk and professional services. So it gives me essentially the same thing as what I selected here. I know that we don't have all the options available yet, but we will be adding to this very soon. If you need anything urgently in order to make use of this, do let us know, and we'll get on that right away. Then we have options related to the team, and that would be mostly what's available here in this Teams tab. You can select the team and restrict it to the team. You can also select to filter it to the team members. So if you've set up our Teams section in the settings, then you can say only show me the tickets for on this board that are assigned to someone who's on this team. You can get that really easily by making that selection there. You can also show unassigned records. Okay, so that's everything on this tab. You'll notice that there's a workflow tab up here, and this is essentially the old column editor here. It's still quite similar, although again, some of the wording has changed to kind of more accurately reflect what we're doing here is we're setting out workflows, because it's not just Kanban boards anymore. It might be other visualizations in the future. So, but we're in any case, we're still setting up workflows that will map to, those are on a Kanban board, those are the columns. So we still see the list of statuses that are available that haven't been assigned to a column. And here you can set up your workflow stages, which are your columns, and give them a name. You can, just like before, you can drag and drop different statuses into each of the columns. A couple of little improvements here is it'll show you the number of cards that are actually in this status, or a number of tickets that are in the status, so that you can see, especially like which ones you don't use very much, and then you don't need to worry about mapping those mapping those statuses to a stage. For example, here cancel. There's not actually any status tickets in them, so it doesn't really matter too much if we map that to a column or not. Also, the dark backgrounds, those are the ones that are closed statuses in ConnectWise. So it gives you a little clue there, because it's not always obvious which ones are closed statuses. And the weighting, these you can drag statuses between the columns just like you could before. We also offer work in progress limits. It's a little different than before. We don't have any minimums, work in progress minimums. Those are very rarely used. And if you want to set up a maximum, or I should say, if you wanted to enable that functionality where it would be like the counting it per group, like per person, then you had to come back here to the swim lanes option and click WIP limits per swim lane, which we thought was a bit confusing. So we've just changed it. Now, if you want to have a WIP limit per person, it just has its own field here. So this one only gets used if you've enabled the grouping for like a member in the default group, or if someone has overridden their own choice as a user to be grouping it by member. So then this would get used. Otherwise, it just uses that, which looks at how many records are in the workflow stage for no matter how many groups you have. We also have the edit time and status to say, hey, if a ticket has been in, for example, here in this waiting status for 7 days, you can highlight that as an error after 7 days, except you don't have to remember the exact syntax like 7D or whatever. You can just do 7 and then select days. So we think that's easier to use. And that's about it. So let me save that. It'll take you to, well, it'll just let you edit it again, although I think it does something different when you create a new board. It will take you, I believe it will take you to this page when you create a new board, and then you can just click board here, and that'll get you to the Kanban board to show you what you just created. Okay, so these are the tickets that were on those two ConnectWise boards, the help desk and professional services that I specified in the filter query builder, and the grouping is by company here. So I've got a swim lane or a group for each company, and you can easily see the tickets for each one. There are a bunch of new features here that I won't mention other than, like, for example, you can resize the swim lanes, which you could never do before. So that's just one example. I mentioned all of the new things in the other video, again, which I'll put in a link to that in the description. And yeah, we think you'll like this new version. I'm not certain right now if it's very useful for like a technician to use. Certainly, like, we don't offer all the time entry things and features like that. So I wouldn't suggest right now using it as like technicians using it, unless it's just for the seeing a list of tickets and what's their priority, and then they can click this link to open them in ConnectWise. It should still work good for that. Although I should mention unless you've set up the automatic ordering like this, then it's just doing the same totally flexible and manual ordering that we've supported before. However, I should say the ordering is not shared with other views that you have created. Like any of the old boards that you already created, these ones are using a different way to rank these cards, so the ordering will be different. So you should not mix and match, like still have some people using the old boards and some people using new boards, because the ordering won't match if you have, for example, a dispatcher who's dragging things up and down to set the priority for those cards. So if you want to start getting your team using the new boards, then make sure the dispatcher or whoever is ranking those cards and the technicians are all using that board and all using the same board, so that they or at least all using at least one of the new boards that you've created, so that the ranking is consistent for everybody. Okay. If you have any questions about that, then just email myself or email help@topleft.team, and we will be happy to get your questions answered and take your feedback as well. Thank you.